We are continuing to follow breaking news in Fresno County, where a Fresno County Sheriff's deputy was shot in the leg. The prime suspect was holed up in his home in Toll House for hours. We're learning he has since surrendered and is now in custody.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Zombalakian.
And I'm Stephanie Barugian.
Let's get right out to Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims holding a live press conference right now.
Fresno County in the foothills regarding a disturbance that had started over a disagreement over a property line, escalated into shots being fired with a neighbor that had been shooting now at the other party. As deputies arrived, they immediately became under fire. They immediately came under fire from a person shooting a rifle from an area a few yards away from where they approached. The deputy that responded was driving a pickup. He had a citizen ride-along. As they exited the vehicle after the shots were being fired, the deputy sheriff was shot in the leg and immediately called in that he had been hit. The citizen ride-along was not shot. However, he does have some small minor cuts from glass from a broken windshield. I've seen a picture of the vehicle. There are numerous bullet holes in the passenger side window, the passenger side door, as well as the windshield of the vehicle. Other deputy sheriffs immediately started to respond. The deputy that was shot was able to return fire. However, the suspect was not hit by any return fire. As other deputy personnel started arriving, they were able to rescue the injured deputy and get him out of the area, but it took quite some time. He was hiding in the bushes in some areas and trying to find cover for about an hour before they could get him loaded onto a CHP helicopter and medevaced into CRMC. The deputy is identified as John Erickson, 49 years old. He has been a deputy for the Fresno County Sheriff's Office for 11 years with previous experience at Kerman Police Department. He's going to be fine. He's in surgery still as we speak. He is in surgery to fix his leg, which was broken, as well as some internal injuries as a result of being shot and the trajectory of the bullet. The suspect we have in custody. I want to commend our crisis negotiation team. They were in constant communication with the suspect and talked him into coming out peacefully after about 2.5 hours of contact on the telephone with him. He is being transported right now. He will be checked out medically before detectives interview him tonight. We will release his name and a photograph at a later time. Right now, we know that we have at least 2 attempted murder charges on this person. And again, the deputy is going to be fine. I was able to meet with him. I was able to meet with his family, and he's getting great care at CRMC. So with that, are there any questions?
How many shots were fired at the deputy?
Numerous shots. I couldn't even count how many hit the windshield and the side of that pickup. So what happens now at the crime scene is our I-Bureau, our crime scene investigation unit, is going up there. They will be able to determine by inspecting bullet rounds that they find on the ground casings, by bullet holes in the vehicle. They will try and determine how many shots were actually fired, but there were numerous shots fired at the deputy vehicle.
In regards to the scene, I guess there was 2 people involved in this dispute. We'll go to them first. Was he injured at all, or what happened?
No, the other person was not injured at all. The suspects started shooting, first of all, at a water tank, and then started shooting all around. So that's what prompted the other person to give us a call. We have been to this scene before. We have been to this location before over property disagreements. It's basically a fence line disagreement. However, because of the civil nature, non-criminal nature of those calls, we didn't take any kind of criminal action at the time. They were given information about how to take care of the issue through the court process. However, that had not been done.
Sheriff, you said the suspect has had charges in the past against him, so is
that known when officers were responding, or?
The pending charges on today's incident are at least 2 attempted murder charges. As we get more into this, there may be 3 because of this neighbor that he was in the dispute with. So we still have to determine that. Normally, when we have an idea of who a suspect is, we do a criminal workup on them, and I'm not aware of any past criminal activity.
Can you describe the moment he was taken into custody? I mean, was there any type of back and forth between officers?
Well, the suspect had threatened to shoot the helicopter. He had threatened to shoot other deputies. So as you can imagine, the desire is to get out of something like this peacefully, like what happened. So leading up to it, again, he was in constant communication with deputy sheriffs who are trained crisis negotiators, and they did a fantastic job talking to him and talking him out of the area that he was in. Now, I want to describe the area that he was in. It was like a little homemade shed or lean-to, and the floor had been dug down 6 to 8 feet. So he could actually get below ground level, which complicated being able to take him into custody. So he was in a place where he had good cover. However, our crisis negotiation team was able to talk him into coming out, and he did. He walked out with his hands up, and we took him into custody.
You mentioned earlier that a family member was helping, giving you
To Sheriff Margaret Mims talking about live there with the 49-year-old deputy John Erickson, who was shot in the leg. His leg was broken. He is in surgery, and it sounds like he's going to make it through. At this time, he's at CRMC. But again, this whole incident starting at 11 this morning, wrapping up just after 4 this afternoon, surrounding the suspect, as she said, in like a shed that had a bunker in it.
It sounds like it. Crisis negotiators, the sheriff said, worked for 2.5 hours to try to encourage the suspect to give himself up. At this point, she has not released the name or a mugshot of that individual, but hopefully, perhaps later today, we'll find out more about just who this individual is. Again, all starting over a dispute about property lines. Neighbors arguing about where their property started and, you know, where their other ended.
And Margaret Mims also saying that this has happened before between these 2 neighbors, but the suspect shooting at a water tank, which prompted the call to sheriff's deputies. They got out there, and immediately the deputy was under fire, describing a horrific scene where numerous bullet holes were inside the deputy's car, and luckily a civilian that was doing a ride along was able to duck and manage to make cover and not get injured in this at all.
Okay, of course, we'll continue to follow this breaking news story. It's been going on since about 11 o'clock this morning. And for the latest information on this story, just go to our website, yourcentralvalley.com.